candium layer is out here.
It looks like a big cheese.
And then this is the sap layer. This is where the, and then this is where everything goes up. And that's called xylem up. And then plum is going down. That means it's going down here through the outer part.
Blue short for sunlight, water, carbon dioxide yields what? Sugars and oxygen. Now normally, most students when they come in here don't know a thing about photosynthesis. But you do. You're good students. What we do though, I'll just briefly tell you, we do pass out to the students who haven't had this before. I pass out things that are symbolic for it, and I'll just pass out a. Okay, that would be sunlight. This would be carbon dioxide, and this would represent water. Okay, and for those that haven't had this, just shut, and you just drop them in here. Yeah, and give this a turn. This is our food factory. Okay, and then what do we get as a result? You already saw sugar and oxygen. Those are the two ingredients that we get as a result. This is photosynthesis.
Now don't fool around with them too much. Don't poke them at yourself or your neighbor. Otherwise I'll get mad.
We don't want to make you mad, then we'll have to leave.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's so weird. Should we just keep this file? Yeah.
Okay.
We don't keep the tools. This file. I know.
You get to keep.
Get on the board. This file.
You'll have an excuse to play with it.
Whoa!
Who remembers the name of the soft center? Raise your hand, Connor.
Hey.
Whoa.
These things are cool.
A little help, put the thing back against your body and pull on it. And with a little bit of luck, and only go one way. One reason for that is if you go both ways, you're going to end up with a mess in the middle. Guess what? I got one with a knot in it.
Can I take it out?
Well, Ted, look at mine. Mine came out perfectly in one spot.
Mine came out perfect.
That's too bad.
Boy, you were
Oh,
lucky.
come on. That's amazing.
You can keep cleaning it out a little bit once you get it out. Did you get through there, young fella? There you go.
Mine won't go through.
Yeah.
You can go through?
Get
I mean, help you.
Very cool.
No, my piss dropped. Mine too. What dropped?
Well, you got a tough one.
Piss. You get it through already.
The center, huh? Sometimes it just
Yeah, you can
kind of
kinda
falls
clean it out a
apart.
little
It
bit.
usually doesn't stay together like that.
Mine just turned into smoke.
Not very often.
No.
Oh, I got a big old hole in mine.
Push it through again, you clean it out just a
You have to
little bit.
keep going. You have to keep pushing it through and through.
Now we are going to make spiles.
I made one yesterday.
Now, what we want to do is take that middle stuff too, and you can let it drop. It's softer, and you can just let it drop on the ground. It will become part of nature's compost. Called a pit. P-I-T-H. Pit.
Are these branches from maple trees too?
These are from elderberry.
They're from elderberry.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're from elderberry. Yeah. Elderberry it's a shrub. It can grow up fairly tall, but not real tall. We make it produces berries. Some have collected them, make elderberry jam, jelly, probably. Certainly wine. So elderberry it's something that grows wild. Normally we don't have it in our garden. Okay, how are you doing? Good. About in this area. We don't want to tap way up there. It would be too hard to empty the buckets, you know, for some of the shorter people that come around to collect. We don't want to go too low either, because if we had a blizzard that would come through here, it might cover them up. So we'll stay right about here. Go at a slight angle. Squeeze. And I want you all to line up single file, and you'll get a chance to turn. The drill here. Okay. So you can come right around here and turn it either side. You turn it clockwise. That's right. Okay, next person. Yeah, that bush, yeah, it goes like this. That's right. And when you come up here, you will notice that we are already into the sapwood portion of the tree, and you'll notice how wet it is. Okay, next person. Clockwise, like this. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Next. You're taking lots of pictures, huh? Yeah, it's already dripping. Yep. Next. Taste it. Everybody gets a chance at this. And then step aside. Next person.
I don't believe it. It's really good.
What do you taste?
Sugar.
It does? Okay. What percent sugar is it coming out at? About 3%. The rest, the 97%?
It's good.
That's right.
I wouldn't think you'd want that.
Careful not to touch.
The rain went.
Good reason, that's right. We don't want any more moisture in there. The animals, well, sometimes squirrels especially. A coon, squirrels, deer. Yeah, we have lots of deer around here. Sometimes they bother us too. What else? How much stuff falling down? Birds, stuff falling down. Yeah, stuff falling down. You're right. We want to keep as much of that out of it as possible. So that's why we put a cover on.
That would be good.
And people are eating
It
this.
wouldn't be good, would it?
On your pancakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're coming for Saturday.
But remember, it's, when we see all the processes over across, it is finely filtered.
Ago would have been made of saplings where you see the steel, and that would all be tied together with sinew that your young ladies would have made out of the muscle of large animal, their leg muscles, and that is brain tanned and chewed soft. Your family would have been made up of grandmother who's in charge, who is somewhere between 30 and 35 years old. If she made it 35, she was an old lady. Her sister, who wants to be number one. Their husbands. Their children. This is what that animal looks like right after it's been tanned. A badger. A badger is protected in this state. This happens to be an Iowa badger, a gift. I guess maybe I should say that to you. If you get to know a Native American and you admire something that they have, you probably will be gifted it. Okay? They are very much giving whatever they have. So that's a badger. And a friend of mine just said, you've got to have it, so here it is for you people to handle. So every day you're going to learn by the beat of the drum. So to remind you that we've been making maple syrup sap for about 5 or 6 weeks. Grandmother and her sister have been working down there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're getting toward the end. You guys are going to start working some shift work. So tonight when you're out picking up sap, young ladies, make sure that the buds on that maple tree are no larger than squirrel ears. So when you have free time today, check those trees out. Beaver was very critical to you because it's a waterproof water animal. It's a vegetarian. It's very dark meat. Had a lot of nourishment in it. It makes an excellent diaper. Now, if you can imagine you've been eating dried fish from last April, dried berries from last June, July, dried corn from last October, dried meat whenever you get it, because you have 5 to 7 days to get it cut up, smoke dried, sun dried before it rots. You're going to eat as much as possible. You need fat back in your diet. This is a good fat to do that with. And it's easy for you ladies. You just put in the basket by when you got it last. These will last a long time. This is pure beaver fat in here. There's a little piece of meat. Do not use it as your lip ice as they would have. Do not be licking it because the young people would be trying to get more fat into their diet.
This is probably 66% sugar. That's when it comes from being sap to being able to be called syrup. So that's 66%. So who's ever here watching this cook has got to be real careful. Because you don't want it to get away from yourself. You could boil it over, you could scorch it, you could ruin it. And this, all your work you've been doing for days on end, ending up in there, you don't want to ruin it at the end. So once a month or so when I go into town, I can take my sugar, go to a general merchant and trade. Because with settlers, we don't have a lot of money. It's just, coin isn't around much. So I can take the sugar and I can trade for it. I can get clothing, I can get materials, I can get farm equipment and that. Because the sugar is valuable. You can only make it here. Start going further west, you can't make maple syrup. Start going further south, you can't make it. Trees aren't right, the temperatures, the conditions aren't right for making syrup. So it's valuable. It doesn't cost me anything. Well, a lot of sweat and a lot of time, but as a settler, those are two commodities I got in abundance. So it's very valuable. Now, are there any other questions?
What we do have are squirrels. And squirrels get really anxious about the sweet sap. So they could bite into the plastic bag pretty easily. In fact, you'll see when we get to another place that they can bite into even the aluminum.
If it drank all of this, it might be a fat squirrel.
Method to consider, because this makes your process of collecting sap a lot easier. What you do is you go up to the top of the hill, you drill a hole and put your spile in, put your hose on, and go to the next tree, put your spile in, and just keep coming right down the hill with that hose to the bottom where you have then a collection barrel. You don't have just a little bucket, you've got a barrel, and you don't have to work quite so hard.
And the story goes something like this. Well, they would take this sap, which is clear, out of a tree, which you've already seen how to do that, right? Gassed hole. It was dripping out. What is this thing called? Spile. Good. Okay, they were taking this out of the tree, and what they were going to do after they got it out of the tree, and they got the sap, they were going to turn it into this. What is this? Sugar. Okay. Am I going to pick that rock up?
No!
What am I going to use?
That.
Really good. I like that. Okay, let's try it. Here we go. Wow. What do we got here? Steam. So
oh, like the water's coming up and then it's going back down.
So we're boiling the sap, right? So all day long now, somebody would come around here, put rocks in here, add more sap, more rocks, more sap. How long did it take them to boil it down to sugar?
About a couple of days.
Couple of days. End of the day. Anybody else? Couple of hours. 3 weeks. Well, they could be all the right answers. We don't know because the legend never said how long it took them to do this process. What we do know that normally the maple season lasts about 30 days, maybe a little longer. So they at least had 30 days to make it into sugar. That would mean they'd have to do this all day, all night, or 30 days to turn this into sugar.
It comes out of the trees at 3%. You have to boil off 28 gallons in order to get 1 gallon of maple syrup. At 66% sugar. That's a lot of boil down. Just think if you had trees that only give you 2%, you have to boil off 43 gallons in order to get 1 gallon of maple syrup. That's a lot of boil down. It takes a lot of time. That's why you go to the store and it's very expensive. Because it's a very time-consuming, labor-intensive process that we have here.
This is where all the sap from all the trees you students have tapped and put bucket on. It all ends up here. You saw that tank back there, right? It comes from that tank by gravity through this tube down into this copper coil here to get preheated because it's about 40 degrees out there. And after it goes through this preheater, it's about 115 to 120 degrees. So then it doesn't kill the boil in our pan because it's been warmed up. Do you have a question?
That one out there is really full.
They all are. The sap is really flowing.
They were all emptied yesterday between 2 and 3 o'clock. That's how much came during the day.
Because the weather's really nice during the day.
We just learned from the milk jugs out there that the sugar concentration in the sap is very important to determine how much maple syrup we're going to get out of it. So we have a couple of tools to measure what the sugar concentration in the sap is. This is called a hydrometer. You see the little numbers on there from 0 to 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is water. This would sit right on the bottom here. But because it's got sugar, it comes up. Kind of like a bobber. But when it settles down, you can read at the top of the sap, the number that corresponds to the top of the sap, tells you what the sugar concentration is.
And now, when they do that, they bring it up here, but this is what actually they're filtering out when they run it through that filter down there. You see this stuff that's down on the bottom here?
Oh, wow.
Those are just normal impurities. They're not going to hurt you, but they just make the syrup look a little bit cloudy. So we want to make sure we get that out of there because we want to make sure we have nice, clear looking syrup. After this, when the smaller container comes up here, we're going to put it in this container right here, which we can heat on a gas stove so we can control the temperature very closely, because once you get close to 66%, the syrup process goes very fast. And you don't want to go too far because you'll either scorch it or you'll turn it into crystal. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our instrument called a refractometer, and we're going to take a little sample of the sap and put it on this little glass right here, close this window down, and then hold it up to the light. And what we're going to see through there is the way the light gets bent when it goes through the material that's on that little blue window. And when you do that, there's a scale inside that looks like this. And you can see part of your field of vision is blue and part of it is white. Where the blue and the white meet is your percent sugar. So right here you can see you're below 62%. And that's about what the sap is like when they bring it up from the cook shack. What we want to do is get it to 66% sugar, and that's when it becomes syrup. Now, you also run the risk of going too far. So if you take it way past 66%, you could end up with crystal. And you'd have like this, a maple crystal, which is good, tastes nice and sweet, but you can't pour that on pancakes very good.
All those terms, wet.
Oh my god, that is wet. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Another question? No.
I'm just sissy baskets.
Time of the melting snow. Yes. Right. Okay. I think you're about ready. So have a think.
Does that taste like Aunt Jemima?
Right.
Oh, you stripped it?
Oh my gosh.
I love this taste. I have it because my dad's gonna suck me. Go to Bailey, go to Bailey, go to Bailey, go to Bailey. There we go. Listen to my sweat. I'm done. I didn't go in my belly. Hey, I need something. Oh, yeah. Is this genuine? I love this. I don't like oh no. Dude, I hate this. You're right. Oh, yeah, go over there.
Yes, maple syrup. This is the right kind of stuff. This isn't Aunt Jemima.
Oh, you want him to wait?
I think you better come give me all your food.
Yep, you don't get to do that. I want another one. Yeah?
Well, thanks for coming.